Hey guys, this is Josh F151 Tech back with another video. And in this video, I'm actually going to be giving an update on the so-called outage, or what I thought was an outage for the T-Mobile 5G home internet in my area. And I'm also going to be running some speed tests on the T-Mobile 5G home internet. So stick around for that. Basically, long story short, I thought that there was actually an outage in my area, and come to find out, I rebooted my gateway a couple of times, and I also, contacted T-Mobile 5G home internet tech support, and come to find out, they told me that there's no tower or anything down in this area, and the network wasn't down or anything. So what I think actually happened was, I think that the gateway may have overheated, because around 10 or 10:30 I normally turn the fans off up in the attic. But from now on I'm actually going to start leaving them on 24/7, unless it's not really that hot out. So I actually went up there and I actually felt the gateway or the modem, whatever you want to call it. It's basically called a gateway slash modem. I have a third party gateway slash modem. It's called a Chester Cheetah version 2. And that's actually hooked up to a waveform 4x4 antenna. So I'm not actually using the stock, T-Mobile, gateway or anything like that. But long story short, I was having speed problems. I was only getting like 98 to 100 on the download. And the thing that they told me was, they told me that it could be that my gateway was overheating. Because they asked me where it was, and I actually told them that it's up in an attic, and they asked me, is the attic, air conditioned or anything? And I said no. So they told me that it could have either been that, or it could have been that the tower near me was like really, overheated. The actual tower itself, the actual cell tower. Because they told me when it gets like muggy or it gets really hot out, you have to try to keep your stuff as cool as possible. Along with actual cell towers. Because they're out, actually in the weather. So there's not really anything, you can really do about that. But, he basically told me, the tech support, he basically told me that there's no tower down, in this area or anything, or there's no tower, outages or anything, that would affect my speed. So, he asked me, do I have a ventilated gateway, like, do I have the windows open in the attic, and I told him, yeah. He said, do you have any fans, blowing directly on the, gateway itself? I didn't actually tell him that I'm using third-party equipment, but he asked me, do you have any fans, in the attic, circulating air? And I told him, yeah. I have a stand-up fan, a pedestal fan, but I turn them off, around 10 o'clock. I have that one, and then I have the other one, I have a smaller one actually blowing directly on the gateway, or modem itself, or whatever you want to call it. But he recommended to me, that I keep those fans on 24/7. He said, well, if it's going to be up in an attic, where it's very hot, where it's not, very well, like air conditioned or anything. We don't air condition the upstairs. We don't air condition the attic. So, but he did tell me, that he would recommend, that I keep the fan on, at least keep the fan blowing on that, on, 24/7. He said you might not, have to have the pedestal fan on 24/7, but, for now on, from now on, I'm just going to keep both of them on 24/7, unless I know that it's not really that hot of a day, to where I could just, deal with it, with just one or two fans on, or just one fan on, I should say, not both of them. But from now on, I'm just going to keep the fans on, 24/7. I kind of hate to do that, but, I would rather, burn out a fan than I would rather burn out my, gateway or modem, or have something go wrong with the antenna, the waveform antenna. So, I would definitely, rather have a fan blow out than, obviously have, unreliable speeds. or have the gateway overheat completely and then not be able to work at all. So I'm definitely gonna leave these fans on, unless it's not really hot up there. So we're gonna just do that from now on. So because when I went up there, it was 89 degrees. I just went up there actually a few minutes ago, to check on the fans, and it was 89 degrees, and that's pretty hot for 2:19 a.m. on a Saturday. That's pretty darn hot up there. For the sun not even being out. So definitely try. My advice is definitely not that this is actually the problem. I don't know for sure that this was actually the problem. I ended up getting my speeds back once I put the fans back on, but I want to say that it maybe was the problem, but I don't really know if it was actually the problem. It might have just fixed itself. It might have been something to do with the tower. Like he said, the actual cell tower, because of it being muggy and hot out. He told me that the weather can affect the tower, if it's really hot out. It can affect the speeds like dramatically. So, you just have to keep that kind of stuff in mind. But he did tell me, the core that I keep my equipment, and I've talked about this on my channel before, the core, that you keep your cellular equipment, when you have T-Mobile 5G home internet, or any home internet, the core that you keep your equipment, the better it's going to work for you. That's just obvious. So, so that's, definitely a learning experience for me, since I don't have air conditioning up there. I'm just going to keep the fans on 24/7 unless it's only like 70 degrees or something up there. Then I'll probably turn them off and give it a break, give them a little bit of a break. But if it's like 89, 90 to 100 up there, yeah, I'm going to keep those fans on, 24/7. So, but let's actually get into this video here. Let's actually open up the speed test app here and actually see what we get. I'm only going to run a few. I'm going to run like 3 on the West Norton, PA server, and then I'm going to run 3 on the Ashburn, VA server. So we'll see what we get. And you do have to keep in mind, that I was messing with the gateway and stuff, so we're probably not going to get like consistently 600 to 700 or so, right away. So, I did, switch back on the fans and everything, and I was messing with the gateway settings some and stuff like that. So, you have to keep that in mind, that it's not going to, be back to, the 500 to 600, right away. But definitely not bad on that one, though. 529 for the download, 16.3 for the upload, and then 36 ping. Definitely not bad. And you also have to keep in mind, like I always say in my videos, we have security cameras running 24/7. And also my mom's downstairs, she's been on the internet, so you have to keep that in mind, that the internet is, constantly being used, especially for those security cameras and I have Google Nest Hubs. My mom has a Google, not a Google, my mom has an Amazon Echo Dot. So, that's being used by the internet, Google, Nest Hubs, they're constantly on. So, stuff like that, like my mom, she's downstairs on her computer. The last time I checked, so, the internet, is being used, so it's not like it's going to be, 500 to 600 on the dot every time. So you just have to keep that in mind. And again, with the security cameras always being, active, so you have to keep that in mind. But definitely not bad at all on this one. 624 for the download, 16 even on the upload, and 39 ping. So not too bad. So yeah, it's very possible that the gateway, it's very possible that the gateway did overheat. That's very possible. So that's definitely, it definitely seems to perform better, when it's core. So, I have a fan blowing on it right now. It definitely seems to be performing better. So that's definitely a good thing. And I'm not actually sure that it was that, but it was awfully funny because when I contacted tech support, they did run through basic troubleshooting tests with me. They had me restart it. They had me unplug it. All that kind of stuff. Maybe that kind of stuff did fix it. But it just seems kind of weird when I switched the fan on. It started working again. When I put both of the fans on, the pedestal fan up there, and then I put the fan, that's directly blowing on the gateway slash modem itself. I noticed that it started giving me the speeds that I was used to getting. So, it could have been, that it could have been, overheating. It could have been, that, they were having something go on with the network, with the towers or something in this area, at that time or something. It could have been that. It could have been, that I was just being throttled, something like that. I'm not really sure. But, it's working now, so I'm not really that worried about it. But they also did do a network refresh on the gateway itself, or on my signal. They actually, did a network refresh, and it took them like 15 minutes to do that. So they actually, refreshed my signal and everything, and they told me that they did a refresh of the network. So that could have fixed it. That's very possible. But I'm kind of leaning toward it. Probably was more like an overheating issue. And I definitely don't want to have a $500 gateway slash modem, go down, because of, heating issues, So, like I said, unless it's like 70 degrees up there, or something, if it's like 89, 90, or 100, I'm definitely going to be keeping those fans on up there. It's not really the safest thing to do, keep fans on 24/7. But I would definitely rather replace a fan than replace a $500 gateway slash modem. So, and if it helps it perform better, like I said, if it helps it perform better, then obviously, I'd rather do that. Replace a fan than replace a $500 gateway slash modem or antenna. So yeah, that's going to be the plan moving forward. So, and that goes for anybody. I would highly recommend, if you have your gateway up in an attic, somewhere where it's very hot. If you live like in Texas or something, California, something like that. If you have it somewhere where there's not, where it's not very well ventilated. If it's like up in an attic or something, I highly recommend, having some kind of a fan blow on it, or blow under it, to push some air into it and stuff. But not bad on this one for the download, 533, 14.1 for the upload, and only 37 ping. Run one more on this server, and then I'll switch over to the Ashburn VA server. But yeah, the core, the better. The definitely. I mean, I've noticed that with the gateway. I've noticed that if I keep it core, it's definitely going to perform better. It's going to give you better download speed. It's going to give you better upload speed. It's going to give you better ping. It's just going to perform a lot better because the core that it is, the better it's going to perform. So you just have to keep that in mind. And you don't have that high of a risk, of actually burning out a gateway. Especially if it's somewhere hot like we have it up in the attic. So I'm definitely going to be keeping those fans on, 24/7. Once in a while I'll give them a break if it's a nicer day, like if it's in the evening or something, if it's not really that hot, I'll give it a break, I'll give both the fans a break, and just open the windows. I do have the windows open 24/7, so that definitely helps. But, having, air actually blowing directly on it helps a lot more. So just, keep that in mind. So on this one, not bad at all. 567 for the download, 15.1 for the upload, and 39 ping. So I'll switch over to the Ashburn VA server and run some on that. Now keep in mind that the ping is always higher on this server. I don't know why, but I don't really fall too much into that because I don't believe that I'm getting that high of a ping. This is a further away server, so you have to keep that in mind. And I'll show you guys in a minute that I'll go into the ESPN app here in a minute, and I'll download an app, a random app or something from the Google Play Store, and I'll show you guys that I'm not really getting that high of a ping. So, just has something to do with this server. So definitely not bad on that one. 656 for the download, 22.2 for the upload, and 98 ping. But like I said, I'm definitely not getting that. Open up ESPN here. And as you can see, boom, right into it. Open up the Google Play Store. Download a random app, Temu. As you can see, it downloaded very fast. Uninstall that. I'll download another random app, Snapchat. Why not? Does take a little bit while longer to download Snapchat. I guess it's a bigger app, but as you guys could see, it downloaded fairly fast. Download WhatsApp Messenger. As you can see, downloaded very fast. So yeah, I'm definitely not getting, 98 for the ping. That's definitely not true. I don't know if you guys can hear the fan behind me or not, but I have a fan blowing on me. I'm sorry if you can hear that, but we don't actually air condition the downstairs. Well, the second floor. We don't air condition the second floor. I'm actually in my sister's old room right now doing the speed test. Um, but we don't air condition the second floor. I actually only air condition my room, and we definitely don't air condition the attic, obviously, because there's not many people that go up there, other than me and occasionally my mom, if she needs to get something out of there or something. But, the main reason I go up there, is to check on the gateway, sometimes the gateway or modem, whatever you want to call it. I check on the, electrical stuff up there. I make sure, everything's as cool as possible. With the fans, I check on the fans, stuff like that. That's basically the only reason I go up there. But, we don't actually air condition, the entire house, because it's expensive to do that. We have plenty of fans, around the house, but we have, a bigger air condition downstairs that actually air conditions the whole downstairs. Well, most rooms anyway, the kitchen, the, living room, the dining room, stuff like that. We have a bigger, window unit downstairs, and then upstairs, I have a window unit in my room. We don't actually have central air because we live in the country. We live in an old farmhouse, so we never got, central air put in. We could have, but, it would have just been, crazy expensive to do that. So we just use, window units. It's not really that big of a deal, not really the end of the world. But just a little bit about my house and about my living experiences and stuff. For those of those of you that would be interested, but not really worth putting in central air in a 100+ year old house, in my opinion. So, but on this one, definitely not bad at all. 616 for the download, 19 even on the upload, and then like I said, I'm ignoring the ping because I'm definitely not getting that ping. So, just keep that in mind. Definitely not bad at all on that one. 544 for the download, 31.1 on the upload, and then 93 ping. But like I said, that's definitely not the ping that I'm actually getting. I'll run like two or three more on the West Norton PA server here. So yeah, I definitely think that it was something to do with the, I definitely think that it was something to do with the gateway itself, because it definitely seems to be performing better, now, especially since I've switched those fans back on. So, I would highly recommend, keeping fans on, your gateway basically 24/7. From what it seems like anyway. I thought that I could get away. Now I'm not 100% sure. That was the problem. I'm not 100% sure that the gateway was overheating or anything. But when I went up there and I felt it, it was very hot. To the touch. It wasn't like steaming hot, but it was warm. It was warm enough, to where if I kept my hand on there, it was pretty warm. So I'm definitely going to be keeping that fan on, both fans on 24/7 to keep it as cool as possible. Just to be on the safe side. So not bad on this one though. 555 for the download, 13 even for the upload, and then 39 ping. Run like two more here. So not bad on that one. Almost, we just broke 500, but like I said, it's not going to always be, 500 to 600 or 700 on the nose. It's not just not going to be that, with a cellular connection. You just have to keep that in mind. But still not bad at all. 502 for the download, 11 even on the upload, and then 39 ping. So I'll run one more here. And I've noticed another thing: the fan also seems to help with the upload speed a lot. I have noticed that. I've noticed that if I keep the fan on, I have noticed that I get better upload speed. And like I've said, the upload speed in this area is terrible. It doesn't matter what carrier you have. Like I've said before, my sister had Verizon. She got terrible upload speed. I have Metro by T-Mobile now. I get terrible upload speed. I had T-Mobile, and I still got terrible upload speed for my phone service. I know a friend of mine that has AT&T. Well, Cricket, which is a MVNO of AT&T. It still uses AT&T's network. Basically like Metro by T-Mobile, but it's cheaper. And he gets terrible upload speed. So I know some people that have Tello Mobile. My mom has Tello Mobile, which is an MVNO of T-Mobile. She gets terrible upload speed. So my sister actually has Mint Mobile now, which is actually an MVNO of T-Mobile as well. They have like three or four MVNOs. So she has Mint Mobile, which is a MVNO of T-Mobile, and she gets terrible upload speed as well. So there's not really anything I can do about that. Like I've said, I've tried messing with the settings of the gateway slash modem. Since the third party one, I'm able to mess with the band locking and the tower locking and all that kind of stuff, network mode switching, VPN, all that kind of stuff. But Unfortunately, this is about as best as I can get, for the upload. But, as long as I'm getting over 5 for the upload, I've looked online about that, which I am. I'm getting over 5, basically consistently now. But as long as I get over 5 for the upload, they say that that's sufficient. That's good enough for most households, which it is. Because like I've said, I don't have a problem uploading YouTube videos. I don't have a problem uploading to Google Drive, Dropbox, Mega, anything like that. Facebook, Instagram. Stuff like that, resumes, anything like that, or uploading emails, or anything like that. I don't really have any, major problems, when it comes to that. So, like I said, I've read online about it, in Cox Cable, and Xfinity or Comcast, whatever you want to call them. They say as long as you get over 5 or 5 for upload, that's sufficient for most households. So, just keep that in mind. That you don't need, like 50 to 80 or 100, for upload for it to be sufficient enough. So, but, if it was like 1 or 2, then yeah, I would be like, yeah, that's, absolutely terrible. But, it's not the greatest, but I would say it's from, good. I would say it's like fair to good, before I actually messed with some of the settings in the Chester Cheetah version 2. I was actually only getting like 2 to 3, occasionally like 5 to 10 on the upload, and now I'm getting like 7, or more on the upload. So that's definitely, an improvement. At least I was able to improve it somewhat. But if you guys know of any other ways that I can improve it, definitely let me know down below in the comments. If there's any, 5G or 4G bands that you, would recommend that I could try, for better upload speeds, definitely let me know, what those bands are, definitely let me know so I could try them, down below in the comments. I would really appreciate that. But on this one, definitely not bad at all. 541 for the download, 7.81 for the upload, and then 40 ping. Let me actually run one more here. And like I said, me and my mom don't really game or anything, so I'm not really worried about the, I'm not really worried about the ping or anything, so I'm not, I'm definitely not worried about that. Yeah, if the ping was in like the 80s to 90s to 100 range, yeah, then I would be a little bit worried about it. But, 30, 37, 40, that's definitely not bad at all. That's very good in my opinion for a cellular, connection. So, definitely not bad on this one though. 524 for the download, 7.68 for the upload, and only 37 ping. So definitely not bad at all. But yeah, that's basically the video, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to get basically an updated video out there. I'm glad that, whatever I did, whether it be, turning the fans back on, or, having T-Mobile, tech support refresh the signal. I'm kind of leaning toward, it might have been that my gateway or modem, whatever you want to call it, was actually overheating. So, like I said, I'm definitely going to be keeping those fans on, from now on, 24/7, unless I, feel the need to turn them off and give them a break. Every now and then I probably will, I'll probably give them a break, every now and then, if it's not a really hot day or something. But today was a really hot day, and it's actually still a hot day. It's actually like 89 degrees up in the attic there, and it's actually 81 degrees if you can see that on the top of my status bar, on my Google Pixel 8 Pro. I actually have the weather, status up there, the degrees, if you guys can see that. But, you also have to keep in mind, an attic is going to draw in a bunch of heat. It's going to draw in heat, because it's the highest part of the house, so it's definitely going to be hotter, than most places, in the house, because it's the highest top, of the house. So you have to keep that in mind. So, if you guys have that problem, to where, you're not getting reliable speeds or anything, or you think your gateway, might overheat or something, like I said, I don't want to burn out, a $500 gateway. I would rather leave fans on, 24/7, and maybe risk having one of those fans burn out, before I would have the, $500 Chester Cheetah version 2, gateway slash modem, whatever you want to call it, burn out on me. So, definitely, I made another video on my channel talking about that. Definitely keep your gateways and your antennas and stuff, wherever they're at. Definitely make sure that they're well ventilated. Open some windows, open windows, open blinds, whatever you have to do, to be able to get, air, good circulation, in there. Run some like pedestal fans or ceiling fans, or air condition, whatever you have. Put a fan, directly on it, or underneath of it, or like behind it. For my case, I actually have a fan, directly behind it, blowing, into the ports and everything, and then it's blowing, also like over it, and then I have a pedestal fan. Actually, I have that on a pedestal up there. Obviously, it's a pedestal fan, but I have that actually blowing like left and right, to help with the, the heat and stuff, just to keep it a little bit cooler up there. Like I said, the last time I was up there, it was 89 degrees, and it's 81 degrees right now. Outside, it's 2:44 a.m., on a Saturday, so that's pretty hot for the sun not even being out. So, that's basically, what I think was going on. I think that the gateway was actually overheating. So I'm definitely, going to be monitoring that a lot more, and keeping fans on. Like I said, unless it's like 70 degrees, or something, I'll give them a break every once in a while, if it's not really a really hot day. But if it's a really hot day, I'm going to keep those fans on, and keep it as well ventilated as I possibly can. So I definitely recommend doing that. If you have, your gateway or your modem, or whatever, up in a hot place, in an attic or something like that, I definitely recommend, keeping it as well ventilated as possible. So, but anyway, yeah, guys, like I said, I just wanted to get this video out there. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, guys.